If you want to talk about it, let's talk.
Welcome to the show. Let's talk about relationships.
Let me walk you through your healing.
Let's talk about that. I don't want to be nowhere where there's a move of God, but I'm not receiving.
Economic side where now women are making more money than the men that they date.
So many people don't know who they are before they start doing what they do.
God is going to supernaturally visit you.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Pastor Shea, sitting on the set with Sheila Ray Charles, the daughter of the legendary Ray Charles. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Pastor Shea. It's awesome to be here with you, and we're just having a good time. So I love to have the opportunity to talk about my story and share how God's been good.
Awesome, awesome. Talk to me about the relationship with your father.
Woo! That's a question that everybody, of course, asks. My relationship with my father, first of all, he was married to the music. When I talk about somebody who was dedicated to their career, to their life, music was my father's life. And so with that being said, I think the children suffered because every little child or every little girl and every little boy wants their father. I used to call my father the do-drop-in daddy. Because he do drop in when he feel like it. Amen.
Okay.
So, so it was hard as a young girl because the world got to love Ray Charles.
Right.
I mean, even to this day, I don't care if I'm in Japan, if I'm in Lithuania or Slovenia or in France or in the Bahamas.
Right.
You say the name Ray Charles and people go, oh, we love
Legendary,
Ray, we love
yes.
Ray, we love Ray. And, the world got to love Ray. And I felt like I just wanted to have intimacy with my father. And, it was just something that was hard for him. His parental skills were zero. He had a father that was absent, a mother who died at a very young age, and he was raised basically by the school for the blind. And
wow.
So I think that created that paved the way for his parental skills. And so my relationship with my father was really hard as a young girl.
Okay.
As I got older, I was more forceful. I was very, very assertive when it came to our relationship. And,
Okay.
It was like a light went off. When I was around 12 years old, I knew I wanted to be a singer, and I knew that I wanted to get close to one of the most famous singers in the world, and it just so happened to be my father.
Your father.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
And so I called him and I said, it's time. It's time for us to
At
have
12
a
years
relation.
old.
At 12.
So prior to that, did you know that Ray Charles was your father?
I knew he was my father. Got the child support check every month and spoke to him on the phone.
Okay.
I had a phone relationship with him, in spite of the fact that my mother, throughout the years, had a romantic relationship with my father. I didn't have a father-daughter relationship with him. And one day I just said, enough is enough of this. Obviously you would think that a dad would say, "Where's my daughter at?"
Yes.
But this kind of shows you the mindset of where Ray was. Where my father's mind was, is that he was about the women. He was about the music,
The player.
and then the children would come in.
Oh,
And
wow.
my brother Ray Jr. wrote a book, and that was his quote as well. He said Ray was about the music, the women, and then the kids.
Oh,
and
wow.
really in that order. It was. I'll never forget. My father did the grand opening for the Mall of America, and we lived in Minnesota. It was the biggest mall in the United States, and he was coming in to do the grand opening, and he called my mother, and he's like, "Yeah, now, baby, I want to see you."
Yeah,
And
go
my
ahead,
mom
do
was
the
like,
rock.
"Oh, I got to
See
see
you, Ray.
Ray's coming to town."
What'd
and
you
I'm
say?
like, "Oh, Dad's coming to town," and she's like, "Yeah, but he's not going to have time to see you."
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, do you understand the
Yes.
devastation of that for a child? But that was where my father was.
Wow.
But when you were in his presence, it was so intense. He had a presence about him that was bigger than life. And most people think that Ray, my dad, was 6 feet, 7 feet tall. He was a little short dude,
He's short.
like Prince, not that short, not as short as Prince, but he was a very small-statured guy. But his persona was very big, and it was something that you gravitated to. And so I had an opportunity to have an intimate relationship, a more intimate relationship with him as I got older, because I pressed into that, because I had lost so much time.
You opened the door. Did you have any moments where you just sit and talk to your father about issues going on in your life as a child?
Yeah.
You did?
We had
about
some
the
of
boys?
those moments. Well, no, mine was about the music career.
The music, okay.
And yeah, I stayed away from the subject of boys with my father. That wasn't a very good subject with him. He wasn't.
Wasn't a good example.
No, wasn't, you don't talk about that, which is interesting considering there's 12 kids by 9 mothers. You would think he would have a greater understanding of relationships.
9 mothers.
Yes, 12 kids. 9
he was busy.
Ooh, yeah, he did this a lot,
Ooh, what you say? Touchy-feely.
Yes, touchy-feely a lot.
Did you know your other siblings?
No. We met at my father's passing, and that was incredible. All of my life, I always wanted a sister, and to find out that I had 5 sisters was completely. It was amazing to me. I had just gotten out of prison, and my mind was actually clear enough to understand. I've got 5 sisters. Not only do I have 5 sisters, I've got 6 brothers.
Wow!
And so it was a real emotional time to discover that. I had a sister that I've always wanted, and it was a very painful time because my father kept us apart from each other.
Oh.
And he kept us apart because he was still in relationships with all the mothers. Till the day my mother died, she was in a relationship with my father, and she really believed she was the only one.
The only one. Wow.
They all believed that. You should have seen his funeral, girl.
I could imagine.
I'm telling you, Ray. Yeah, he made it do what it do for real.
9 mothers.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that is amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing. So now let's take a turn here. So that's amazing. So you did get to meet them. Do you maintain a relationship with them also?
I do.
Okay, that's
as a
good.
matter of fact, my younger sister Robin is with me in Atlanta. I'm very, very close with my oldest sister Renee.
That's good.
And she's the one that kind of holds us all together. If we all lose contact with one another, we just call Renee. How do we get in touch with you? And then Ray Jr. and I are working together now on a project.
Awesome.
Where I'll be doing a tribute to my father, and he's going to be a part of the production team for that, and I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
So.
I gotta ask, what do the moms do? Do the moms talk?
Well, not if Ray could help it.
I'm just playing. I'm playing.
No,
I really just
my
playing.
dad is. He was very good at what he did, and he really had a way of separating the women and the lives. Of course, at some points they crossed paths, which is one of the reasons why my mother and father separated, is because he had my mother booked in a hotel in New York City, registered under the name Mrs. Ray Charles, but he also had another woman, which happened to be my oldest sister Renee's mother, May Sanders, registered as Mrs. Ray Charles too. So at that time,
player.
I mean, you got to be bad. You got 2 women in the same hotel registered
under the same
your wife's name.
Wow.
And so my mother found out about that, and that was basically kind of the beginning of their separating, and then the lawsuit, and her really saying, I'm worth more than this. I deserve more than this. My mother was from a little small town in Ohio called Cambridge, Ohio, a virgin when they met, and gave her heart and her life, and continued to give her heart and her life to my father till the day she died.
Oh, wow. Amazing, amazing. And I actually, in reading your story, I want to transition here a little bit. I read your story, and you've come through a tremendous traumatic life experience, if I would put it that way, loosely describing your life. And you've experienced, we talked about being abused as a child. You went through being on cocaine for a period of time. I think, how many years? 20 plus years.
Yes.
Being in and out of federal prison. In jail, and at least 3 times. Yes. And so after going through all that, what was the turning point? Because at some point you came to a point in your life, and you said, when you look, and actually also you lost custody of your children.
All 5 of them.
All 5 of them. Talk to me about that before I get it.
Well, during my addiction, I had 5 children by 4 different men.
Okay.
3 of them were born crack cocaine addicted. I had a son that was born so premature. He weighed 14 ounces. He had a hole in his heart. He'd stop breathing every 15 minutes. And I was still so caught up in my addiction, I would even smoke crack in the hospital with him and
My
go in
God.
and see him drunk. And, you know, there's a place of pain that you cannot medicate. You come to a place of pain and of hurt and suffering and anxiety and lowliness. And I don't mean humbleness like the lowliness that God wants
Right.
you to have. But you just are feel
A
so
low
low
place,
about
yeah.
yourself. You're alone. You've completely destroyed all of the good things in your life. And that's where I had came to. When I got to prison the third time.
The third time, okay.
My
Now
life,
your going in and out of prison was related to what? Just being on.
It was related to me not being able to be obedient to my probation.
Okay.
I never went
Okay.
to jail for drugs.
Okay.
My original charge was larceny, receiving government stolen property. And mail. I had my drug dealer that I used to get my crack from was involved in a worldwide mail theft ring.
Wow.
And they had been trying for 10 years to catch this family. This is all this family did. They stole checks, made checks. They would go and steal people's mail. They'd rob mail trucks. And they had been trying to get this family for years. And it just so happened when they came to town, they would stay at my house because I would buy the drugs from them, but they would hide all their check-making things and all of the things that they did. I really didn't know too much about it, but when they raided my house, they found all of this
stuff,
evidence. And they were asking me, well, where are they at? What are they doing? What's their next move? And I honestly didn't know, so they're like, well, okay, since you don't know, you'll be going to prison with them.
Okay.
And out of everybody in that whole ring, I was the first one to go to prison, and I
Wow.
really wasn't
You were
even in the ring.
implicated.
I'm
Wow.
like, I'm just a crackhead, you know?
Right.
And that was where my mindset was I at that time. And so when I got to federal prison the third time, everything in my life was destroyed. My career was over. I had a very viable career. You know, I was out on tour with the DeBarges and hanging with the Jacksons and, you know, Sherelle and James Ingram, writing songs with him. So I had a really great career happening, and I had lost that, lost my voice, lost my kids. My mother had lung cancer that had went to her brain, and I was so in my addiction that I left my mother to die. And that's one of the things to this day that I pray for God's courage and his strength to get through, because my mother, at the time when she needed me the most, I was caught in a spiral, going straight to the pit of hell. And my mother was one of the one person in my life who always believed, who always saw me for something greater than I could see
Something
in
about
myself.
mothers, man.
I mean,
no matter
she
what.
knew
Yeah.
that there was something. She would speak to me that you're going to be a great woman of God, and the world will know you by your testimony. My mother just had the gift of discernment, and so I had lost everything, and that's what created the desire to die to that life.
Wow.
When I got to federal prison the third time, my kids were all in foster care. My mama was dead. My father wasn't speaking to me. My family had given up on me. After 20 years of hearing the same thing, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get better. I promise I'm going to change. Even God himself was probably tired of that old promise that never came into fruition, you know. And so 3 o'clock in the morning, the devil was penetrating me. You know, when you're down, the enemy is here
Speaks
to
the
rob,
loudest. Yep.
kill, and destroy you.
Every time.
And so at that point in my life, he was talking to me. Look at you. You're a filthy, nasty, lying crackhead on the concrete floor. You've abandoned all your children. You've almost killed 3 of your babies. You've got children that almost died because of your drug use, and you're here in prison again for the third time. You should be dead. And I tried to find some way out of that truth. Was there any bit of that was a lie? And sis, there was no lie in it. I couldn't find one thing that was going through my mind that was being said to me in the spiritual realm that was a lie. And so I began to toss and turn in my bed, and I hit the floor, the concrete floor of that cell, And when I hit that floor, I began to cry. And it was a cry like I've never experienced before. I had reached a place of desperation and urgency. And I looked up at the ceiling and I said, God, if you're God and you're real,
Talk to him.
Take me from this planet. Take me from this life of hell that I've created. There's no way out for me. There's nobody who believes in me anymore. Everybody's given up on me. I've lost all 5 of my children. My career is over. I can't even sing anymore. You know, I've smoked so much crack. My voice had that raspy. You know, everything that was good was destroyed. So I said, God, if you're God and you're real, you're in all, through all, of all things, the author of life and death, the beginning and the end, you'll take me from this planet.
My God.
What do I have to live for?
My God.
What's here, sis? What was left for
Nothing.
me?
My
There was
God.
nothing.
Jesus.
And something happened that was unbeknownst to me. I mean, it was like a something that you can imagine on TV, something that you see, something you hear about. But all of a sudden, the ceiling started talking back to me.
Wow.
In an audible voice that filled the whole room. It filled the whole room, and the voice said,
Presence
Sheila,
of the Lord.
Sheila,
Come on.
Sheila, if you want to die to this life, I can save you. I can help you, but there's a requirement. Girl, a requirement. I'm sitting there, I'm like,
you know, I got
okay,
nothing
wait a
else
minute,
to
hold
give.
up, you're losing me. You're losing me. Here I am, I'm a 3-time felon laying
Come
on
on.
the concrete floor of federal prison. If this is God talking to me, what could I possibly give God that would be a sweet-smelling sacrifice to him? What could I give God
My
that would
God.
be acceptable in his
My
sight?
God, yes.
I'm a nasty, filthy rag laying on the floor. There's no good in me, and this voice is telling me there's something that I have to do.
Wow.
Well, you know, I tell this all over the world. I grew up in an old school Helen Brimfire church. There was no way a sinner was going to enter into the presence of God. There was no way that you would be able to communicate with God. So what did I have that had any attribute of a
the
woman
right
of God?
place
My
at the
pastor
right
used to
time.
say, you better not come to church unless your mind's right, you're living good, and you sure better be holy. Because if not, if you look crooked, you smoke a cigarette, say a cuss word, anything you do, you're going to burn in hell. There was no escape. I didn't know that Jesus was married to the sinner.
Come on.
I didn't know that he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. I didn't know that Jesus died for past, present, future, and any
Sin's
sin
not
that-
committed yet. That's right.
Sin's not even committed. I didn't know that God doesn't look through us through the eyes of
Religion.
Of religion. He looks through us through the eyes of Christ, who took every single
My
flaw
God.
from us.
Yes, yes.
And made us pure as snow.
Yes.
Those of us who are in Christ Jesus.
Yes.
I got saved when I was 16, but I didn't live a life of salvation. I walked away from that. I got saved because I wanted to be healed because I was in a bad car accident that had caved my whole face in. God was faithful. He sent me a pastor. And the pastor said, the Lord woke me up this morning. Something about that early in the morning.
Early in the
and
morning.
said, if you will accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, he will heal you. Well, I was cute in 16, baby. I wanted to be cute in 16 again.
So you wanted your...
I'm like, heal me, whatever we got to do. And he, Romans 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, and 10.
Yeah, come on.
So I spoke those words and received Christ for all of the wrong reasons. But let me tell you how faithful God is. I woke up from that surgery and God had healed me.
My
do
God.
I look, okay, I'm talking about
None.
my head was contorted. I looked like
Wow.
an elephant man. My eye was sunk back here. All my teeth had came through my face.
My
my
God.
chin, everything broke from this car accident. But God healed me.
My
But
God,
he
he's
knew,
awesome,
see,
yes.
he knew what I didn't know. He knew, God said, I know the plans that I have for you.
Yes,
and
he
they are plans
does.
of good and not
Yeah.
of destruction. He knew that 25 years later that I would call on his name.
My God, yes, he does.
Laying on the concrete floor of federal prison. He knew that one day that I would
get that.
walk the
Yep.
walk and not just talk the talk. He knew that one day that I would fulfill the calling that he had on my life.
My
So when
God.
I called on the name of Jesus laying on that floor, God heard my cry.
My
And
God.
the things that God had told me that I needed to give to him were not what I thought. He said, I want all the pain and all the suffering and the shame and the guilt and the sexual
Let's
abuse.
trade it. Come on.
And the abandonment issues that I had from my father. He said, I'll be your daddy. I'll be the daddy your daddy couldn't be if he was all the way right. I will be your mama. I will be your late in the midnight hour. I
Jesus.
will be everything that you need if you surrender your all to me.
My God.
And that's the one thing that I have to tell everybody. any person that I meet, you know, in the life of drugs, and right now synthetic drugs are huge, and they're you know, heroin's making a comeback, and these kids are getting hooked on pills, and because they're seeking only what God can give them, and they don't know it. And you know, church folks get so comfortable in their self-righteousness.
Right.
You notice I said self-righteousness,
yeah.
not godly
Yeah.
righteousness, because when
yeah.
we become connected to God, we have a desire to want to talk about the goodness of God.
All the time.
And there's a generation of young people who are seeking refuge so desperately that they are sniffing bath salts.
Household
They're
products,
smoking
yes.
spices. They're
wow.
seeking something, some redemption, some place of hope, something that will change them. They're seeking it, and they need to know it's
All the wrong
God.
places,
And they
my
need
God.
to know your story.
Yes.
See, God said, I didn't save you for you, Sheila. I saved you so you could tell somebody.
That's
There's no
awesome.
pit of hell I can't reach down and pull them out of.
That's awesome.
And so
Amazing.
that's what he did.
Wow. So at that moment, you just
At that moment,
surrendered.
I
and
surrendered
said,
my own. I gave God all my bad stuff. And he said, here's the thing. One of the other things that we do on Sunday, and I teach about this when I minister, we go to the altar on Sunday, and we lay something down at the altar. And we do it every Sunday, the same thing.
Yes.
And sometimes we lay something down at the altar, and when we leave, we're 90,000 times worse than it was when we came in.
And bring it
because
back
you
again.
you lay your stuff at the altar, but you don't say, God, where that empty vessel is, where that space was, where that demonic
Fill
force
it.
was.
Come on.
Fill me with your
Come
Holy
on,
Spirit.
yes.
Because the enemy's going to come back with 7 times more demons
Check
to
the
fill
house.
you up. He's
Yes.
going to check you.
Yes.
And so that's what God did. He didn't say, give me all your stuff and just left me there. God
My
said,
God.
give me all your bad stuff, and then I'm going to fill you up with my Holy Spirit so that you can do the ministerial work that I've called you to do.
wow. Awesome. Awesome. So
Won't leave you empty.
Wow, what an amazing testimony. He would
Amen.
trade your mess for victory
Girl.
every time. Fill you up, clean you up.
That's right.
And put you on Let's Talk to tell your story.
Tell my story.
God is
He said, I'm
good.
going to take your mess, turn it into
The-
a message
come
for
on.
this mess age. Okay.
What you say.
All right.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Lastly, as we close,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about your CD, but I think it's called Behind the Shades.
yes.
Behind the Shades. What was the inspiration behind that CD?
Prison.
Prison.
I tell people, if you don't think God will meet you where you're at, go to jail, baby, because he's there too.
Wow, that's amazing.
God used to wake me up in the middle of the night and would give me these inspirational songs, you know. Have I told you lately that I love you? God woke me up in the middle of the night. He said, Sheila, if you want to change the atmosphere of the compound of this prison, send me some praise. Send me up a love song.
What you
So
say?
I started writing, have I told you lately that I love you?
Awesome.
And the Lord then it was like after that. And Behind the Shades, which is the testimony to music. All of these things were inspired when I was in prison. I had no clue. I thought that God was giving me these songs to edify the people inside of prison. I had no clue that he would send me to some of the greatest producers in the United States and record it. And now
Wow.
I sing it across the world.
And now you're singing the world. As we get ready to close, sing a little something for me. Give me a little something old school.
Old school?
Yeah, give me a little
Like what? Old school secular or gospel?
old school gospel churchy.
Let's see.
Anything. There you go.
God sent his son.
What you say?
They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal, and forgive.
My.
He lived and died to buy a pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives, because he lives.
My God.
I can face tomorrow because my Father lives. All fear is gone because I know he holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives.
You need to stop. We're about to have church. My God. My
Yes,
God.
yes.
That's so amazing.
Amen.
Thank you so, so very much,
You're so
Sheila Ray
welcome.
Charles, for just stopping by
You're
and
so
giving
welcome,
us your
sis.
testimony.
You're so-
I love you so much.
Anytime,
I love you.
anytime.
Oh, my God. This is an
love you
awesome
too.
connection. Woo! God bless you. Thank you.
Can I please say, for those of you who want to hear more of this story,
Yes.
please go to SheilaRayCharles.com. Get Behind the Shades, the book. Get Behind the Shades, the CD.
Yes.
And support the ministry. My husband and I are full-time ministry, and our ministry is prisons. Girl, let me tell you, we are supported through the people supporting us through our CDs and
buying
our books.
your products, okay.
We'd love to come and speak at your church.
Awesome.
And minister a word. Wherever the need is, we will be there. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye now.
God bless y'all.
The Lord has given me an amazing vision. I have already made the investment, but I really don't believe the investment was just for me. I believe that I was empowered to help you take your voice and your message to the masses. If you are in Tampa Bay or the surrounding area, we have a state-of-the-art studio designed to help you get your message out. Have you ever thought about doing Bible study? Or even producing your own talk show? Well, this studio is equipped to make that happen for you. Contact us today. The information is on the screen.